Unless you just want to have like a bad experience. Personally, I think most of the movies are bad. Like I said, I think the first one is genuinely like a pseudo B horror action flick, and it's actually fun. Has some ridiculous stuff in it, but it's fun. Like her doing the wall run and she kicks a dog in the head is like, personally, I actually like that. I thought it was interesting. It was crazy and dumb and weird and fun. I still love the elevator scene in the opening of the movie. Like, it's one of the craziest openings ever, where like the elevator, you think someone's gonna get chopped in half and then it stops and it's like, oh, I've never seen that in the movie. And it's like, oh, I guess they're safe because it stops halfway. And then it goes up and then like it chop her head off. And I was like, that's nuts. I also saw in the YouTube video where they're like, if you pause during that scene where the elevator first slams into the ground, it actually does hit the ground, because the floor is actually like a cushion. You can actually see the floor like press inward when they slam down on it, because they actually drop them. They just didn't drop them on like a solid ground. I was like, you wouldn't notice that because it's like boom, it's a split second, then it goes to the next clip. But I was like, that's funny. That's really cool too. If you ever go back to that scene where the elevator is dropping, you can actually see when the person hits the ground, the ground like ever so slightly bends inward, because it's actually just like a painted mat, a reflective mat. I was like, that's amazing. Something I never knew. But really loved the movie. I always enjoyed that one. I was pumped for that sequel. And I was so disappointed. I didn't even see it in theaters. I had the worst experience with that because I saw the worst bootleg ever. Like, imagine, you know how some YouTube videos, it's like 144p. It was that sort of bootleg DVD. So it was real bad. But then it was just like, I can't stand that movie. I just can't stand it. So there's that. 3 hours over it, and so it's whatever. 4 and 5, I barely remember. I know they brought a bunch of people back for. Was it 5? I think 5 was actually really good, and it had me super hyped because I was like, okay, this once again went way off the rails, but it was like, okay, they have Wesker back, they have Jill back, and now they're like, hey, we have to team up with Wesker once again, totally crazy and different. But it was like, okay, they have the characters standing at the White House as all these monsters are flying around. It's like, we need to take back, basically, we need to take back Earth. And then the next movie comes out and everybody died, and I was like, what? They all just died in some explosion or whatever, and Alice just comes out of the ground like, and everybody was dead except for Wesker, and then he got killed by a door. And it was like, doesn't he have super strength still? I think he does, but the last one was the worst one, number 6. And then Welcome to Raccoon City came out, and that,
ouch,
yeah, that covers it. So we'll see what happens with this. July 14th is when it's coming out. We shall see. Yet another live action adaptation for Resident Evil. And they won't just put them in the effing mansion. That's it. Every time I'm excited, years I'd been excited for a Netflix Resident Evil series. Every time there was always this rumor. For years that has been a rumor. Like, I swear it's been, I feel like it's almost been 10 years. And now it's finally happening, and all I ever wanted was just a full season of them in the mansion, and that's it. That's it. Like 4 or 5 hours in the mansion, like 4 or 5 hours per game. Story wise, I think it totally fit, and I think that would work. For Netflix, they wouldn't want them to be any shorter, I would imagine, but 4 or 5 hours, I think you could manage to do that, and it wouldn't feel rushed. Because the actual like concrete story is kind of small when you consider main campaign, but that's where a lot of the documents come in, and they could do a lot with the documents. So there's so much there. There's so many ways to kind of portray that. They could do like actual scenes for every not every document, but like some of the bigger documents they could do. They could do the itchy tasty, and it actually be something of value.